And here I am with Victoria Schwab.
Yes.
And she is one of the YA novelists who's at our SIA Book Fest, and I am so excited for her to be here. And I have just started The Near Witch, and I love it. It's so good. Really, really good. And I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what you write. You write quite a bit.
I do. I write as both Victoria Schwab and as V.E. Schwab. And so I write everything from really young middle grade, kind of upper elementary school through middle school, all the way up through adult. And so a lot of my young adult books are really crossover. I write for who I was at different ages. And so I write for 10-year-old me, and I write for 16-year-old me, and I write for 28-year-old me, as I am now. And so I usually write dark, like kind of supernatural thrillers, though. So that's like the one thing that my books have in common is a supernatural element.
Oh, fantastic. At what point you talk about, writing for yourself at different ages? Was there a point at which you realized that this is what you want to do, that writing was a thing for you? Or maybe a point where you just realized how very important books were to your life?
Yeah, I mean, I have that rare luxury of having grown up with Harry Potter. I was 11 years old when Harry Potter, and the Sorcerer's Stone came out, and so I got to age in that way, and that definitely made me a passionate reader. But for me, I've always been a storyteller. I didn't always know what form it would take. I thought for a while I'd be a filmmaker or a screenwriter, and I just kind of found my stride in college, I suppose, and I haven't really looked back since. I just love telling stories. It's something that I would do even if it weren't my job. It just makes me happy.
Fantastic. What's your favorite thing about developing characters and about creating these worlds that your readers are going to read?
Yeah, honestly, my favorite thing about developing characters is that they take on a life of their own. Like, I try very hard to construct them and be very conscious about that construction, and then to respect that construction. So sometimes you can tell if you're writing and a character does something that you think is not in character, or sometimes it does something that's in character that you didn't anticipate. And so it's about really creating your characters as people. I don't ever want my characters to feel like characters. I want them to feel like real people, and then respecting them as people and when they do make decisions, and kind of just judging it. It's kind of like creating and then corralling everything that you've made.
That's becoming, I think, recently my definition of a good book is an author who creates wonderful characters and then sort of lets them go instead of trying to force them into a story. And in my own writing, as I've been writing, I've discovered that it's kind of like reading. Writing is kind of like reading. You start with something, and then it kind of you find things out.
I'm my first reader, and if I'm not having fun as a reader, I'm not having fun as a writer. I can't expect anyone else to like it if I'm not enjoying it. So a lot of it is for me kind of creating a story and then living inside of it and reading as I go. So it's kind of it's a very exploratory task, I think.
That's fantastic. What is one of your best experiences with interacting with your readers?
Honestly, the whole reader-writer relationship is so surreal to me still to this day. I've been writing for about 5 years, been published for about 5 years, and it never gets old. Just the idea that someone comes to an event and they have loved my book so much that they feel they know my characters more than I do. And sometimes they do. I mean, I'm constantly impressed with how well-read and how passionate so many young readers are these days. And there's nothing more rewarding than them loving a character so much that they're sad when the book is over. That they don't want to let go of the characters. Because as the author, I don't want to let go of the characters, and the hope is that if you do it right, your readers won't want to let go of them either.
Thank you so much. Would you mind mentioning very quickly why you think a festival like this is important and why you're excited about this festival being here?
Of course. I've lived in Nashville so in the Tennessee area for more than a decade on and off, and I have traveled all around the country to different festivals. The idea of getting to have one here in, the Southeast where I call home, you foster a culture of reading and a culture of book love. And I think you can really tell the difference when you go into a school or a city that hasn't fostered that. And I really want our community to be one that fosters this kind of passion and this engagement between readers and writers. And I think that SIA is an amazing opportunity for us to do that.
Thank you so much. It's a huge thrill to meet you, and I'm so excited for you to be at our book festival.
Thank you so much
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Great to meet you.